Sabbatical is over and I am back to my typical routine. Thankfully, allergy season has passed in the meanwhile, but I've also imbibed far too much coffee over the last week and have a little bit of jitters, and at the same time, on this Monday morning, I'm already ready for a nap. So as my brain readjusts to some sort of normal rhythm, my synapses are firing in all sorts of funky directions. These are some random TTRPG thoughts. Let's roll it.
Mornings.
The more I run streamlined superheroes, the more I appreciate it. See, last week during a session, I added a 100-foot-tall Gritty to an adventure's final battle and gave him the ability to topple, as in topple buildings. These attacks added hindrance points, which then had to be cleared before a timer expired or really bad things happened. The points represented things like falling debris, survivors trying to get to safety, or the structural integrity of the toppled building itself. And however the heroes decided to deal with the hindrance points, that was fine. They just had to narrate it. However they narrated it was how those hindrance points were affecting the scene. That was really cool. They got to help build the world. And it worked really well. The problem was it wasn't as desperate as I wanted because Gritty missed 2 of the 3 topple attacks that he got to make. I was kind of bummed by that because one hero was actually driving a giant cheesesteak truck, don't ask me, and I was actually planning on having Gritty picking it up and tossing it into a building. Oh well, missed opportunities, right? I will say that right now, this is one of my favorite superheroes, if not my favorite superhero game to run. Now, it needs to have some of the homebrews people have been adding to it integrated into the core system just to flesh it out a bit. But wow, it is fun. I'm finding that Star Trek Adventures has a number of added fiddly bits to the simple 2D20 system I first encountered in Dreams and Machines. And on one hand, I'm kind of bummed by this because I think I prefer the simpler setup than the one that's in Star Trek Adventures. But on the other hand, I have to admit that all these added fiddly bits, such as needing a specific focus in a department to get a chance for a critical success, makes Star Trek Adventures feel like Star Trek. I also have to say that being able to play a random red shirt on an away mission would be an absolute hoot, and I want to do this at the fastest and soonest possibility. I'm going to get to play Dark Space. Mr. Dragonbane from Lurking Fears reached out to run it, and we've got a table ready to play. Our game will not be streamed, though. This one's just for me to have some fun, but in the future, we shall see. When Jonathan, or Mr. Dragonbane as he's known online, poked to run a Dark Space adventure for me, it triggered some introspection. That's just the type of person I am. See, Jonathan is a busy guy, so it means something to me that he'd want to make sure that I got a chance to play this fun system even though he is really busy. And because I'm me, that got me thinking about all the other folks who have helped me out on this weird DM Tales journey. I am floored by the folks who have helped with EcclesiaCon, the GMs, the sponsors, the donors, the volunteers, and every other way that people have helped. I am beyond grateful for the review copies that I've received and the trust that some up-and-coming developers have shown by asking me to look at their stuff. And I do try to be upfront with folks that my bandwidth is somewhat limited because I never want them to feel like they're being ignored because they're working hard on these things and I want that to be honored. I cannot believe the opportunities that I've had to interview some of the best and brightest in the TTRPG field, and the graciousness of the folks who have come onto the channel has encouraged me to reach out to even more people. And I would not have in a million years thought that I'd have regular viewers, apart from the folks who already knew me, that is. And yet here I am, looking forward to seeing comments from folks each time a video goes up. And now look, understand this, and I want to be very clear. I am a nobody. I do not have industry credits. I was away from the hobby for a long time, like 3 decades. But that's the point. You don't have to be a somebody to help shape just a little bit of community. You just have to be as kind and as present as you can manage. Now that's true for the TTRPG space, but I think it applies to general life as well. Let's take a look at the mess, shall we? The Vice President called a federal judge's order to pay SNAP benefits from the emergency fund specifically set up to help pay SNAP benefits during a shutdown Absurd. And the ruling which ordered the White House to feed children through SNAP benefits is being appealed. Let that one sink in for you. Mike Johnson is desperate to spin last Tuesday's election results as anything other than a butt-kicking. The FAA is cutting back flights just before the busiest travel season of the year because air traffic controllers aren't being paid right now, and a lot of them are calling in sick. The House of Representatives, and this is completely true, is in its 8th week of not being in session. 2 months doing nothing. But the Epstein Files discharge petition has absolutely nothing to do with any of that, really. Not at all. Yeah. We're still illegally sinking boats in the Caribbean. Trump held, and this one blows my mind, a great Gatsby party the day before SNAP benefits lapsed, and then in the same time frame bragged about his remodeled bathroom. A judge just called out Greg Bavino for flat out lying to the court, so perjury is now there, and the stupid ballroom is still being built. But a jury of the Sandwich Guy's peers looked at the charge of, and this is from the filing, point blank sandwich throwing, and returned a not guilty verdict. I would take the silver linings as the end of that, but last night the Senate just voted on a deal to reopen the government, which accomplishes exactly nothing, because we have a feckless opposition party that can't help but shoot itself in the foot as a grown-up baby man just goes, I'm not going to talk to anybody. Just make any of this make sense, please. Riffs for Savage Worlds, Daggerheart, and Dolmenwood are on my shelf, mocking me. Their taunts are intolerable. I will not stand for this. My lunchtime group is going to be restarting soon, and I think we're going to be switching over to Streamlined Superheroes just for the speed. It's a short session, so that really makes sense. The game's just so fast, and it's even easier to ride a party's whims during an adventure than even the Cypher system is, and that's saying something. Looking forward to introducing it to folks. I am coming to grips with the idea that functionally I am part of the TTRPG press. Now, I am an amateur with no formal training, so I'm learning on the job, but it is something I take seriously. There's an ethical framework to it and a responsibility to get honest responses which give folks a bit of insight about goings-on in the industry. I am learning, I am always trying to grow and do better, but this is part of the reality of the channel. After my Dragonbane group gets through the Misty Vale campaign, I'm going to take a break from my Thursday games so I can run a couple of mini campaigns using 2 systems I've really wanted to get to the table. The Electric State and Dreams and Machines. I'd like at least one of these to be in person. Here's 2 things about both strength and authority that MAGA just doesn't seem to get. The actual strength of a movement, organization, or individual is inversely proportional to how much they talk about how strong they are. And authority is brittle. The more tight the grip on it, the more fractured it becomes. Be nice if we could all figure this one out. All right, bonus point. After listening to the music on repeat among all my little friends for the last few months, I finally made time to sit down and watch K-pop Demon Hunters. Wow. Now there's a moment towards the end where there's a statement followed by a single blink of a character's eyes and a blackout. And in that moment, she rejects a false shame that had been imposed on her while simultaneously embracing the shame she felt for betraying her friend's loyalty and trust. In that moment, the colors changed. There were voices singing back, and hope rose up, born from the very freedom love is supposed to empower. Like that last song, we're cracked, we're broken, we have failed. And when we embrace these truths, acknowledge them for all to see, and then stand up anyway, the lie that we're alone is obliterated by the light. And we are golden. Yeah, I really like this film. Thanks for watching this video, folks. If you enjoyed it, please consider hitting that like button, leaving a comment, and sharing it with others. All those things add up, and without them, DM Tales falls into the algorithm's abyss. And if you want to keep up with DM Tales, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you know when I have uploaded a new video. I also want to give a special shout out to my Ko-fi contributors who keep this channel running out of the kindness of their own hearts. If you want to help keep DM Tales caffeinated and making videos, the link is right over there. And with the holidays coming, you may be looking for some fun gifts, so check out my merch store for some cool TTRPG related t-shirts and hoodies, including this one asking the eternal question: are we the bad guys? I've mentioned all the games that are currently in my review queue, that I remember that is up in the random thoughts, so I'm looking forward to digging into all of these. PAX Unplugged is later this month, and I'm really looking forward to getting in some interviews while I'm there and some coverage of the convention itself, so look forward to that. My final reflection on Gamehole Con is finished being written and it is ready to be recorded and uploaded to the channel. I am looking forward to doing that. Look for it soon. And there are also some more interviews coming, as well as reviews and hopefully some more actual plays. But November and December can be tough months with all that's going on, so I'll try to keep the content flowing, but it might be hit or miss on some weeks. Just keep an eye out for it, and I hope that I can keep some regularity to all of this. Until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.